The flaming sword of cyber-terrorism was unsheathed yet again when Computer World scribe Dan Verton published an exclusive Al-Qaeda interview. Sheikh Omar Bakri Muhammad, a London-based fundamentalist Islamic cleric with known ties to Osama bin Laden, said Al-Qaeda and various other fundamentalist Muslim groups around the world are actively planning to use the internet as a weapon in their defensive jihad, or holy war, against the West. Bakri said all types of technology, including the internet, are being studied for use against the West. In a matter of time, you will see attacks on the stock market, he said, referring specifically to the markets in New York, London, and Tokyo. His comments represent the first time that a high-profile radical Muslim cleric with known links to bin Laden has spoken publicly about the use of cyber tactics for offensive purposes. Cyber-terrorism experts offered mixed views of whether such attacks could or would be carried out. Former CIA counterterrorism chief Vince Canestraro, for example, called Bakri a fire-breather with no special insight into Al-Qaeda operations or plans. But the experts stressed that the threat should not be dismissed out of hand. Jihad groups around the world are very active on the internet, Bakri said, speaking from a cell phone near his North London office. I will get through this. Bakri said the military wings of various groups are using and studying the internet for their own operations. That is what Al-Qaeda is skillful with, said Bakri. I would not be surprised if tomorrow I hear of a big economic collapse because of somebody attacking the main technical systems in big companies, he said, referring to an ongoing threat of an attack. Oh, page 2. Islamic clerics, Al-Qaeda terrorists, and computer viruses. You'll get the media's attention if you can use all three in a single sentence. Verton went on to quote a bunch of Beltway bandits who collectively believe any Al-Qaeda cyber strike could have a significant impact on the Bush administration's war on terrorism. A fundamentalist holy man coordinates with dangerous computer wizards scattered around the globe. The literal demise of global stock markets. Deadly viruses infect critical systems at major corporations. I said it before and I'll say it again. I can't wait for the internet to writhe in agony. Bring it on, Bakri. I'll believe it when damaged PCs and smoldering mousepads litter the U.S. landscape. Listen to me, folks. When a man of the cloth invokes a sigil against unholy enemies, we expect him to read passages from a blessed tome, like when that priest shouted Bible verses at Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Or we expect him to hold aloft a consecrated object, like when that priest flashed a cross at Linda Blair in The Exorcist. We don't expect him to double-click a religious icon on the desktop. Sheikh Bakri milked Verton like a goat, and he laid it on thick. Thicker than a triple thick goat milkshake. Page 3. Wait a minute. A feisty mouthpiece who speaks for a paramilitary group in another land claims his minions on the internet frontier will gang up to smite the heinous? Why does this farce sound so familiar? I could swear I covered something almost exactly like this a few years back. Hang on a second here. Hang on a second. I know I covered something here. Let's see what we got here. Indeed I did. And the similarities will astound even the likes of a scribe like Dan Verton. Way back in the previous millennium, that would be 1999 to be exact, Nobel laureate Jose Ramos Horta threatened to launch a full-scale cyber war if Indonesia meddled with East Timor's independence ballot. He was the Shrieking Sheikh of 1999. Ramos Horta, like Bakri, lived in relative splendor while his homies did all the gory dying stuff. Ramos Horta, like Bakri, seemed to enjoy the media attention just a little too much. And Ramos Horta, like Bakri, needed a Thorazine injection when he declared, "More than 100 computer wizards, mostly teenagers in Portugal, Spain, Ireland, Belgium, Brazil, the US, and Canada, are preparing their own battle plan. They are targeting the entire computer network of the Indonesian government, army, banking, finance institutions to create chaos. A dozen special viruses are being designed to infect the Indonesian electronic communication system, including aviation. One computer wizard recently told me, we will terminate their banking system. We will invade their sites and destroy them. People will be scared to travel to Indonesia when they know that we are also infecting their air communications. We will cause them..." No, I'll get through this. I will get through this. "We will cause them to lose hundreds of millions of dollars." Indonesia's paramilitary forces waged physical genocide on East Timor's civilian population in 1999. Yet, the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize didn't follow through on his ironic threat to wage digital genocide on Indonesia's civilian population. I tell you, Ramos Horta showed incredible restraint. Page 4. But hey, I'll admit, 1999 was one full millennium ago. Everything changed 2 years later when terrorists finally learned how to pilot an aircraft. Nowadays, we cannot ignore a fire-breathing cleric who threatens Boolean vengeance. How can we not take Bakri's inane diatribe seriously? Good grief, if terrorists can use Microsoft Flight Simulator, what else can they do that we don't know about? Verton's exclusive Al-Qaeda interview quotes Michael Caloyanid. Verton's exclusive Al-Qaeda interview quotes Michael Cayman Islands, a senior fellow at MITRE Tech Systems and a former CIA scientist who said, while the internet was originally designed and configured to be survivable, its transformation to a commercial entity has caused it to become economically efficient at the expense of no longer being anywhere near as survivable. Of course. In other words, Michael Cayman Islands blames capitalism for the pending demise of the internet. The irony! The irony! As you read Verton's exclusive Al-Qaeda interview, you quickly realize Bakri's homies will destroy the West with diabolically ingenious handcrafted TCP packets. Believe it, folks, a typical impoverished nomad can wipe out a string of major conglomerates from the comfort of his parents' lean-to. Page 5. Quoting again from Verton's exclusive Al-Qaeda interview, "There are millions of Muslims around the world involved in hacking the Pentagon and Israeli government sites," said Bakri. "The struggle will continue," he said, referring to the millions of young bin Laden supporters who are now studying computer science as a way to support the cause. "I believe that Osama bin Laden has earned his leadership, and most Muslim students who are graduating in IT technology are supporting Osama bin Laden," Bakri said. "I would advise those who doubt Al-Qaeda's interest in cyber weapons to take Osama bin Laden very seriously," he said. "The third letter from Osama bin Laden a few months ago was clearly addressing using the technology in order to destroy the economy of the capitalist states. This is a matter that is very clear, and Osama bin Laden must be taken very seriously." I can't believe I got all the way through that without laughing. Wow, hack a bunch of government sites? Yeah, that'll bring the West to its knees. Okay, enough with the humor for a moment. Ironically, when Bakri talked about millions of Muslim hackers, he mirrored the opinions of racist U.S. Senator Charles Schumer. Schumer openly questions why our universities teach computer science to Arabian students. He thinks it's a national security threat. Listen to him at a February 2002 Senate hearing.
And we now know that North Korea, Iran, Iraq, and China are all training people in internet warfare. Hostile foreign nations are sending students to American universities to learn computer science so they can go home and possibly use it against us. Our own schools that our children attend, that our tax dollars fund, are probably now serving as digital training grounds for future cyber terrorists, and we're doing nothing about it.
Now, I just quoted Schumer in context, and I do not flippantly call someone a racist. Page 6.